How you doing? Welcome back. This is the C4 movement, and this is Open Book. I am the XD, and yes, we are back. I recently was out due to surgery and trying to heal. I'm still going through my healing process, but of course, I don't can't be away for too long and not run my mouth about different things that's going on. So I'm back. Little sore, but got to get back to having these conversations because I feel they're so beneficial. And of course, if I'm coming back, I'm bringing those that like to talk about things I like to talk about and grow. So welcome back to this show, Glo. Glo, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
All right. Today we wanted to talk about talk to me nice, dating today. But before we get into that, we were just talking about something off camera that I felt like it should be recorded. So let's rewind and then I can respond to that question that we were talking about.
All right. So, talking with my cousin, he's very financially aware, very financially stable, and I'm asking him for tips and things on how to raise my portfolio, learn more about stocks and things. And he goes, "I'll give you the information, but also I need you to think about getting a husband." He said, because two incomes are better than one.
And I told you that is the most powerful advice I ever heard somebody give somebody, especially in today's world. That maybe you should consider about obtaining a husband, looking for a husband, having a spouse, because the benefits that comes with that. And today's world and what we're going to discuss with the whole dating thing, especially with the online advice and all that, it kind of blinds you from the true benefits of being in a relationship. Because everybody has these fears, everybody has these opinions. But a married couple, even I'm divorced. When I was married, there were so many benefits, especially when you go get your taxes done. It's like, oh, we get more just because we said I do. And for him to tell you that, it's like he's to me, he wasn't just caring for you financially. He's caring for your protection, to be protected, your physical being. If you roll that way, your spiritual side and all that, because when it comes to being a husband, there's a certain amount of responsibility that you have over your family. And sometimes that gets lost in the shuffle with the whole expectations of what you should do as a man or what you should do as a woman. But it's so beneficial.
Right. I guess the whole talking to me nice part, at what point do you talk about it? In a dating phase, when do you say, "Hey, I'm looking to be married. Hey, I don't, I want us to go somewhere. This is what I want to offer if we become married." Is there ever a time that's too soon to talk about it?
I can answer that for you. Had a situation where I tried the dating app. Lady hit me up, says, "Hey, how you doing? Hey, how are you doing?" And immediately went into questioning me. What's your zodiac sign? What kind of man do you think you should be? Or are you set financially? Are you set spiritually? And it's like, can you get to know me? Hey, how you doing? I'm doing all right. How's your day going? Something that is building, because you got to understand, I don't know you. Right. And I didn't know I was coming to this job interview looking to get hired in to be a husband. And that's one thing that I'm dealing with, especially in dating. Attempting to date someone right now, and she kind of broke it down to me that she's looking for us to be friends first before we get into the whole relationship. Now, the man in me is like, I'm ready. I mean, we together. Let's roll. And we got to do all this patty cake stuff. It's like, let's go. Yeah. But then it reminded me of every relationship I had in the past. It's okay. We're talking. Okay, we're together, and we get together. We mess around, do some stuff, and it get like, oh, I gotta deal with you the long term. It's like, man, if I would have put in the work to get to know this person, maybe I wouldn't be in this situation where I'm looking for ways out, or doing something to make them ghost me. I don't know what that was. Or making them ghost me. But it's crazy because dating today is so challenging because you don't know where to start. What do you think?
Absolutely. Very challenging. I'm getting some kickback on yours. Oh, there it is. When you mentioned the whole friendship part, right? So I had an ex and he told me while we were together, Glo, you stop being my friend. I said, what you mean? I'm your friend. He says, no, you're my girlfriend, but you're not being my friend. And I didn't really understand that until, some time went by. And he was saying, as your friend, I could miss, not call every day. And it was okay as your friend. But as your man, you require me to talk to you every single day. And if I missed it, I was in trouble. But my friend would have given me grace. My friend would have said, hey, I see you busy. It's okay. And so we forget that. We always say homie, lover, friend. But are we our partner's friend? Do we forgive them when they mess up? Or, do we laugh at their jokes anymore? Because, sometimes when you're dating, those jokes is real funny. They real funny. But you start getting together, you start dating, those jokes hit. They become like insults almost, right? I could call you egghead when we friends, but let me call you egghead when we dating. It's a problem.
Well, in that case, that's where, in the man's position, that's where the respect comes in. It's like you're playfully playing, but it's not. It's disrespectful. Like,
but it's respectful as your friend, though. When I was your friend, it was cool.
But it's different, though. Like when you're, and this is the problem I have, because if I'm your man, I know how to move accordingly. I got to make sure she's good. Got to make sure that his gas in her tank, her tires are good. The responsibility of a relationship comes into play to make sure you're caring, you're protecting your woman. When you're friends, it's like, okay, I holler at you whenever you holler at me. I'm gonna go do my thing and whatever.
I mean, I can see that. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I can see that, but I guess I was thinking more of, you said responsibility when you become her man, but then where's the playfulness as her friend? So like I say, it took me a while to get there, but it's like it makes sense now because it's like you gotta have both. Because if you just turn to all responsibility, someone's gonna get burnt out. You're gonna be upset that you're doing all of it. You're not having any fun anymore, and she could be upset. Maybe she feels like she's doing all of it, or not getting her needs met in a jokey manner. And then what happens? Some go and find that person that makes them laugh outside their relationship.
Right. And that's been the situation with a lot of people. Especially when they get married, they're so consumed with the responsibility of marriage that they don't have time for each other. Like I told the rapper Big Sean, he recently had him and his R&B. I can't pronounce her name, so I'm not going to try to butcher it.
Okay.
He just recently had a baby, and I said to some people, like, I hope they have people around them that will take the baby so they have time to themselves. Because one thing that happens when we have children, in a lot of cases, one of the parents is going to be hooked on the kid, on the baby. They're going to want to be around them all the time. They're going to be overprotective. They ain't going to want nobody to watch them. And then it's going to get to the point where, remember, you're in a relationship. You had a baby, but you have a spouse here that you need to be, a part of. You need to be a part of life. You need to be communicating. You need to be, and it needs to be real communication, not the quick, hey, how you doing? No, it needs to be conversation. It needs to be, hey, how are you doing? Don't tell me the quick answer so we can move on, but how are you really doing? Is it stressing you out? You want to go get away for a minute? Or don't even ask, just take her away, to be able to breathe. One of the problems I had in my marriage was I was working so much. I was working at my job, then I would do stuff at a church, cutting grass, shoveling snow, and it hit me like I'm doing all this work and I'm making no time for my wife. not going out to parties, not going out to dinner or anything. It was just work, work, work. And when the marriage was dissolved, it made me think like we really didn't invest any time in one another. It was just we were just married on paper. And that's one thing I see when it comes to dating today, is that a lot of people are taking these online folks' opinions, ideas, and they are going straight into, well, if you're not going to respect me, this isn't going to work. I believe you showed me something where guys, was going out on a date with a woman, and he asked her to wear certain type of clothing, and if she didn't wear it, it showed that she couldn't respect him as a man. And I'm thinking like, that's not your wife.
Right. But
you have no ties to this person.
Right. But in his mind, or I'll say, I won't speak for him, but I can see a line of logic with that is, if she can follow my direction as we're dating, she'll follow my direction as a wife. So it could be a prerequisite. Is that right? Prerequisite for him, right? We think that's too quick, too soon. That's not your woman. But how would you know that she would do those things had you not attempted it? But too soon, right? You can't expect the first date to be follow my lead. I need to see your leadership, and then I'll decide if I want to follow.
And that's one thing that also gets lost. It's at the choice. Just because you pick someone and say, hey, I want to be a man, they have a choice if they want to give you that title. Like I said, a lot of the online stuff, if you really sit and watch it, yes, they're speaking with sound logic and it makes sense, but their moves on how they do different things is where it kind of bothers me. Like, I understand as a man, you got to be on your P's and Q's. One thing that I came across today, actually, they were talking about women with their Instagram. So it's like, how you gonna be somebody's wife and you on Instagram with your booty and your boobs all out? That's disrespectful to that man. Then the women to go like, well, you can't be insecure and all this, it's her body. And that part, I would say, once you're in a relationship, you represent each other. And to be out there like that is disrespectful. That's just me.
No, and I think a lot of people feel the same way. I feel like the whole talking to be nice thing will decide what works for you and your person. We brought up Sierra and Russell Wilson. Most of us, I'll say most of us because I didn't care either way, but some people didn't like what the outfit she had on at the gala. It was showing a lot of her body, but her husband's right beside her. Now, one end, somebody says maybe he didn't approve of it, but she's wrong, she'll do what she wants. Other side says he approved and encourages her to dress for herself. Yes, represents him, but it's also her choices as well. So for me, whenever I'm thinking about dating or going into a serious relationship, those are conversations to be had. Does my social media presence affect my partner? I have to ask you straight up, hey, I'm a social media influencer. I'm not, but example, I'm a social media influencer. This is what I do. Zero problem. That sounds rude. Nope, that's not what I'm going to say. How do you feel about seeing me on social media in ways that maybe you only see me in the bedroom? Right? So I'm asking how you feel about it. I'm not saying I would change for him. I'm asking how he feels to determine if that's something I would do or wouldn't do, right? Because I've already been doing it. So I'm letting you know, you join me, you join that. I'm saying, and vice versa. Let's say a guy is doing thirst traps, right? His shirt's always off, or the little angles, his little Adonis hip things are showing, or there's always his little gray sweatpants and his print is showing, right? That's an enticing to the women. He's flirting with everybody, calling everybody sweetheart or love, and that could affect how I feel about it, because you call me love, but you call her love too. It's the word used with everybody, so it's something you have to deal with. What if you date a model? You want her not to model online because you know you don't feel comfortable with it, or you feel someone is looking at her a certain way and they shouldn't be. You gonna put a curtain on her now? She can't. You know, that's your bread and butter. That could be the money that comes in. I feel like social media could be separate from your life if she's not walking around with that two-piece on, you know, at the grocery store. You know, I don't know. I think it's different, but it has to be agreed upon by the folks involved, because if a woman or man decides to show their body on social media and their partner does not like it, I don't think that person should change what they're doing. Should change partners.
Bottom line is communication is the key.
Always.
Communication is the key to understanding what your situation is. And it, of course, with this, I disagree, because I feel like your wife is wearing a nice little something, a little skimpy, and you like, man, she looking good. Then all of a sudden, she takes a picture of her, and it's a sexy picture, and she puts it online. The only people that are really liking this picture is other dudes who's looking at you now in enticing light. So now you put yourself in a position where you're enticing these men, not purposely, but how you move and how you present yourself. And you wouldn't feel respected if the man were to do it on the other end.
I agree with you. I'm also thinking though, you could entice them and they can see you, but will they ever have access to you though? There's social media folks. It does depend, but I think the vast majority of folks who are Googling or Oogling, you know, looking super hard at these videos and pictures are folks who will never meet them. You know, I say majority. Of course, there's opportunities, but I'm saying, you know, these model women or model men or folks who are just super, you know, influencing, you know, influencers. I think it's very rare for just an average person to meet them, catch their eye, and get them away from their partner. You know, like I see your sentiment. I'm not dismissing it, and I can see it being disrespectful, especially if, you know, you're constantly seeing comments, you know, or DMs to your man or woman, or, you know, heart eyes under everything. But that is when the relationship takes over. That's my social media presence, you know. Let me see. Certain actresses or musicians go by a different name, right? Or even poets, they have a stage name. That's my personality, that's my persona. But who I am at home may be different, right? So you're gonna not punish me, but you're gonna hold me accountable to this when that's not all who I am.
I'm gonna give you an example that I seen today. This is why it's funny that we're discussing this. A young lady posted something on Facebook saying that she wants some of that summer love. And I guess her boyfriend commented, "What do you mean summer love? Like, what's going on?" Mm-hmm. And she was like, "Oh, I'm just posting something." And she's like, "So is everything all right?" She's like, "Yeah, everything cool." And then she goes and says, "I didn't say I wasn't in love now." But he's like, now his mind wonders, like, you posting this, making people think like, oh, but you're not in love with me, and something going on that I don't know about.
Yeah.
And that goes with the communication, but it also goes, I feel like, with a lot of respect. You got to know your spouse. You got to operate within those you are involved with. You know the person. I guess that would go with the being friends first before dating. You got to learn everything about that person, how they gonna react. Okay, I know he might be a little bit insecure if I post this. So would I post this knowing it might make him feel a certain type of way? Or, well, this is my online presence, so I want to keep my followers up. So I need to put something to keep them reeled in. There's a choice we have to make between reality and online. And I feel like sadly online wins the majority of the time, especially when it comes to relationships and how we deal with one another.
Mm-hmm.
Because I watch a lot of these judge shows. And then one thing, when they go up there to speak to the judge, they always say, well, he was posting this on Facebook, or she was posting this on Facebook, and that's why the argument started. It's online.
Yeah, I think I agree. I've seen it, and I do believe when people put more emphasis on their online presence than their real life situation, it's always going to flip that way. Because if you're always on your phone, you're always laughing and giggling when you're texting someone and not engaging with the person next to you, they're going to feel some kind of way. Right. You can say, oh, it's work, or oh, it's my, I'm getting paid for this, it's my influencer money or whatever. You're eating off of it, it pays our rent. Yeah, but if you don't know how to turn it off, that could definitely set a problem, right? If you put that above the real connection you have with your partner, everywhere you go, it's a photo out. Oh, take a picture of me. Oh, this is great lighting. Or this is that. Or everything is content, right? I can see it on one side because technically you're making the money, but it doesn't mess with you emotionally. It doesn't mess with you mentally to think that my partner rather do that than to connect with me. Again, for me, we had a conversation, say, hey, I feel neglected. I feel like this is not working. If they don't adjust for you, then it's time to leave, because life's too short to be stuck somewhere. Hope they'll change, or hope they'll see you, or hope they'll connect with you, hope they'll put social media down. Not if it's paying.
Like I was looking on today. There was a young man. He went to play his PlayStation, play 2K, and come to find out his My Player was deleted. He went to ask his girl, did you delete my player? Now, one thing about this, in 2K, there are 2K leagues where people are making good money. So a lot of people are creating their players, spending a lot of money on these players to make money in these leagues. Apparently, he was in one of the leagues, and she deleted his player. And he was ticked off because I guess she felt like he was spending so much time on the video game, but she didn't realize that he was actually at work. Mm-hmm. He's working. And I feel like situations like those, where conversations are so crucial, because without having a conversation to seek answers and to fix things within your relationship, you have problems. You do something drastic and you end up ending the relationship. Sadly, we seen that couple, I think last week, or online, a man and a woman were arguing. I guess he wanted to leave. The mother was over at the house as well, and the woman ended up killing her husband after she wouldn't want to leave, all because of not properly being able to communicate. But what that situation is, you had a mama and somebody in her daughter's business she didn't need to be in.
I said that goes both ways though, because the mama didn't need to be there, but the daughter shouldn't have invited the mama in either, into the business, because it takes two. You can't get information out of me I don't give you.
Right.
And I would have it unless someone else gave it to me. So it's like it works both ways. But you're right. That fortress, that circle y'all make, a bond you make with you and your partner. I've never understood those horror stories when somebody kills their spouse, because it's like, you could have left. You don't like it here, leave. Like, we both could have been living our life, but now you done killed me, I'm gone, and now you gone to jail, prison, or whatever. 2 lives ruined, and whoever else is affected, like, just leave.
Well, we see the same thing with these school shootings.
Yeah.
Same thing. It's like, you don't want to be here, you upset with somebody, and kill yourself. Why are you killing innocent children or innocent teachers who have nothing to do with whatever it is you're going through? They weren't even there.
Yeah. Like I say, talk to somebody. There are so many resources, and I know insurance is not the best right here, but there are resources you can get and have that can help you and assist you. And it's that talking piece. No one wants to talk, and they are talking about nonsense. I don't want to say nonsense, but they're not always talking productively, right? They're talking over each other, or they're talking from a space of arrogance. Well, I think. Well, stop thinking so much. just listen. You know what I mean? Like, it's a time to think and a time to listen. Like, and don't listen to respond. or listen to argue. Just listen,
Listen
and
to understand.
absolutely that part. And it's like, so I agree with what your young lady said about being friends first, because when you're friends, a lot of times you're getting to know someone on purpose, right? Like, I want to know more about you. Tell me about something. Where when you are in a relationship, I already know you, or I think I know you already, or you're getting on my agenda now. I want you to do things this way, or we start dating now, so now we're going to the next level. Now we're going to engagement. We're going to marriage. We're going to children, family, all these things. But we skip that basic step. When you have nothing else, you got your friendship. When you mad at them, when they sleeping on the couch, when they staying out late at night because they want to talk to you, that's when your friendship steps in. That's when you go, you know what? My pride aside, I messed up. And your friends do that. Well, I'm supposed to do that. Some of our friends don't. But your friends are supposed to come back and say, my bad, I messed up. Let me try again. I had a friend who would say, it wasn't my intention. That made a big difference. When I came and told them, I said, hey, this and this happened, and I felt this way. They said it wasn't my intention for it to come across that way. As opposed to saying, well, that's too bad for you. It was like, my intent was to say this, and I see that you heard something else. That it hurt. It still hurt, but it hurt less because I felt like they were listening. They understood my bad, and that's not what I meant. Let me try it again. And that goes for friendships, relationships, parent-child, co-workers. Communicate. You know how many instances have happened at work that could have been avoided had we communicated properly?
Right.
If we just talk to each other, you guessing what's going on, or you going to gossip to somebody else about me. Ask me. How would you know what's going on unless you talk to me? And honestly, the whole dating thing is kind of interesting now too. It's a different topic, but being afraid to talk to somebody about something, right? I have an issue with you, but I'm afraid to talk to you about it. It's never going to get solved. It's never going to get solved because I think you're going to react a certain way, or I don't think you're going to hear me, or I don't think it's a big enough deal, or me personally, I don't know how I'm going to react when I talk to you. So I avoid it. I don't know if I'm going to come off really upset. I don't know if I'm going to be sad. So that's not good either to avoid it, but I have.
See, I'm on the side of, if there's something wrong, let me know. Because for one, and I'm honest about this, I do not want to sit here and try to read between lines what's wrong with you.
Mm-hmm.
If I do something to make you upset, talk to me. If I say something to make you upset, let me know. Keep that communication with me so I can move accordingly within our relationship. That way we don't have unnecessary problems for things that could have been discussed in 5 minutes. It takes a week. Then we don't address it. It takes 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then it continues on till we say, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's what I was saying too about communicating in the beginning of the dating phase. When you start talking to somebody, talking to them about your communication style, because I definitely have let things drag out because of past times. There was times when I didn't say anything. I didn't express myself enough to my partner, and they were left reading between the lines. They were left guessing. So a partner told me that. They said, hey, I don't know what's going on. Would you talk to me? I started talking to them. He told me, now you telling me too much. You're nagging every little thing now. It's not just some things, it's everything. So it went from nothing to too much. So then I retreated again. I'm not going to bring up an issue because it's going to be too much. So my history has taught me bringing up certain issues either won't get resolved or will be looked at a certain way. So look how that's going to affect me in my next relationship. I'm not going to bring it up. And if my partner has a history of not being told things, it's a recipe for disaster. We out here fighting each other and don't even know it, So
Right.
Going into the dating phase saying, hey, this is how I communicate, or this is how I have communicated, or this is how I would like to communicate with you. What's your idea? Do you need to talk about it right now, or can it wait a couple days? Do you talk with your hands like me, or are you more of just a kind of chill kind of person? Do you get loud when you talk? Because that ain't gonna work for me. Like those kind of things, and maybe not right in the beginning. because you don't know how long you're gonna be with somebody. But when you talk about getting serious, how do y'all communicate? How you gonna move forward, right?
See, for me, and this is one of the areas that I was going to bring up because I have a hard problem with it, and that is patience. Being patient, like the whole friendship phase and everything. Like I said, it's annoying as hell because you want to get into a position where, okay, I want to be with you. I feel like we were connected. Things would be good between us. But now we got to do this buddy thing to try to, understand each other and obtain information about one another. And it's like, and it's numbing to me. But I would say in the situation I'm currently in, patience is something I'm actually having to put forth, which is allowing me to learn a little bit, but it makes me frustrated a lot because when you're talking to someone, you're trying to build. So when you talk to somebody, it's like you want to wake up, they at home, like, good morning, man, how you doing? Make sure you woke up this morning.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, no, I can't say that because I don't want to be too much. We just friends. So I'm gonna just space out my communication. It's like you have to play, I guess, the odds, I guess. You don't want to do too much in a time where it's not required for you to do all that. Like, you're just a friend, be the friend. Don't try to be more. But then the problem from a male's point of view of most men get put in those situations and then get friend zoned.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just feel like we were better friends. It's like, skip that. And this is something I want to bring up because Steve Harvey said it. Mm-hmm. Men don't be friends with women unless there's a concrete answer of we're not going to move past the friendship. Then okay, I guess since we can verbalize and talk, I guess we can be cool. But most men, when they deal with women, they're looking for more than just buddies. It's like, it's different from men being a friend with a woman. It's like, with being a friend with a woman, there's the opportunity that you could probably grow into something and might get laid here and there. Versus a man, if you're not swinging that way, you ain't trying to go down that route.
So, I'm sorry, I'm writing these down. If you like them now, you don't think that you would like them later?
Yeah.
So then what's the rush from being a friend? Because it should be the same, right? If anything, it actually could grow.
True. And that's the patient part. The difference is, for me, speaking for myself personally, it puts me in a position of wanting to be in that role.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're where I want to be. So I want to be in there. I want to be in that role. I want us to start making plans to do different things and whatnot. I want that role. I want that position. And it's like, I'm ready to go. It's like, I'm a football player who don't want to go to practice, but I just want to get in the game on Sunday. It's like, I'm ready to go. I understand everything that's coming with it. I understand that practice is important. It allows you to understand your teammates, your coaches, the calls, the strategy, and everything. Mm-hmm. I get it. But it makes me just want to get in the game. Because practice is like, everything's held back a little bit.
I get that. And I wonder if communicating that will make sense too, because I did ask somebody this. So on the dating apps, they have all kind of interesting conversations and things. But one of the questions was, what are you looking for? On the app, it tells you, in the profile, what you're looking for, whatever. But the guys say, I'm looking for friends. Now, I know you don't necessarily like questions after a question or whatever, but like, I wanted some clarity. So I said, and what kind of things do you and your friends do? I think that's a legit question, because if you're saying you want to be friends with women, what kind of things are these friends doing? Are they just going out on dates? Are they being intimate? Because that sounds like relationship stuff. Are you relationship stuff or friend stuff? And so with that conversation, does it make sense to ask a lady, hey, what do you expect from your friend? How often do you expect to communicate with a friend? You know, and you can even do a hypothetical. Say, hey, I got a guy, I got a homeboy who's talking to a young lady and says they all want to be friends. How often do you think they should talk without making it seem like it's a relationship? You're asking for someone else, but you're really asking for you. You know what I mean? Like, and I mean, that may be too slick. Maybe that's trying between lines, whatever, but not putting pressure on her, right? Or even him. If it's my situation where a guy tell me the same thing, hey, I want to take it slow. I want to get to know you. I don't want to rush into another relationship. I don't want this to be a rebound. I respect it, but I'm also like, then why pursue me? Why come as far if you just want to be my friend? Like,
right.
And the things that some of over the years we have done feels like more than friendship stuff. So are you sure you don't want a relationship? Or you just want to go through the motions? You know what I mean? This is just practice, but you don't want to put me in a real game.
Right. And that's another part of it, is like, you don't want to be playing the friend role and get used.
Right.
Because that's like, people don't realize it, that's like the biggest fear of dating, is allowing yourself to be vulnerable, allowing yourself to be open, and somebody taking advantage of it. Somebody's using you for the benefits of you without even wanting you. So a lot of people, especially I would say women, from my point of view, have always been, when it came to me, they wanted some concrete. Okay, do you like me? Do you see this going somewhere? And like I said, I like that type of communication because it allows us to know where everybody's standings is. I ain't got to figure nothing out. I ain't got to read between lines. It's like, okay, you do like me. Okay, you do want this to go somewhere. Oh, you do this. Yes. But at the same time, if you feel like if the attraction's there with her, attraction's there with me, that waiting period to get to that point is where the patience I lack comes into place.
I get it. And like I say, I respect it. It makes sense, especially when you're not used to that waiting period, right? You're used to getting right into there. But to me, maybe that's a fantasy. I think about the idea, the fairy tale idea is that time could be there to build a stronger relationship. That because that's different than your other ones, it could be a better one, like because it's different. Like that's my thought. It may not be true, because some folks like to waste your time. So you're thinking, oh, I'm here for the long run. And they're like, but I just drug it out, and didn't even know it. But I mean, if you have to wait, and you can do what you want to do, you don't have to. But if you have to wait, if you want to wait, if you're choosing to wait, I would say use that time to investigate. Use the time to see if this kind of person you want to be with. Because imagine you jump into something and you realize, ooh, I don't really want them. You would have known that had you took your time being a friend.
Right.
So sometimes that patience, that waiting period is saving you, not just them.
Yeah.
Just saying. I mean, like I said, it's difficult because I agree with you, and we're not getting any younger, right? We want.
That's the big thing, especially once you get older. Getting older makes you want to put things in place to where you can become older and enjoy life. Because it's like with some women, it's like, okay, I don't ran out, did the streets, did the clubs, and I don't want to do that anymore. So now I want to be able to settle down and do the whole family thing. But sadly, with a lot of people, reach a certain age, and then the way you move and conduct yourself isn't what's the hot commodity anymore. And I think that's a reality that a lot of us don't want to face. Because I see a lot of people, men and women, who are older and they're alone. And I think back to like, why did you wait so long to try to investigate that particular area of life and get to this point that you are now at this age where you're basically, you would accept anybody.
I mean, you said they waited, but who said they didn't live life and it's their second go round? You know, you said you've been divorced. You didn't wait. You experienced that. You've experienced marriage. You experienced divorce. You experienced having children. You experienced them growing up. You know, so it's not necessarily that everybody waited for this point in their life. This is how it happened. A lot of people get remarried after divorce. You know, a lot of people have second sets of children, right? 15 years apart or so, right? So it's not that they waited necessarily. It's just that the timing's different. They've experienced it and want something different now. Some folks like me probably have, well, I waited for the children part, but I've definitely dated. I've definitely been out there, you know, experiencing life. It's just certain aspects of life I waited on because you've seen it. Some people pick a partner, they don't stay around, they're raising the children on their own, or there's different difficulties in life you have by not having a partner who wants children with you. You know, you've seen women who go get pregnant and the man says get rid of the baby and the woman chooses not to, and the man says, well, I told you I didn't want it. That's a choice he made as well. But that's why some of us waited so long. We don't want anybody to father our children. We don't want anybody to mother our children, right? So yeah, we took a little longer than others. That doesn't mean that, you know, we're not deserving of the good things. It's just the dating pool has changed. You know, and the requirements, like you say, are different. What we're looking for may have to be different.
Now, can you honestly say, though, you agree or disagree, the longer you wait, you have to accept that, like you said, the dating pool has changed. So the longer you wait, the less selections you have.
I want to say yes, but I also feel like there's always exceptions, right? Because the older we get, who we date changes, right? We're not going to date the same age range anymore, right?
That's my point.
So that group changed. Yeah.
When you date someone older, usually you're dating someone who's more set in their ways, who's not looking for someone who's looking for someone who can bring an extra piece to their stability versus bringing some new experience. Because now it's like, I'm 39 and I turned 40 in this summer, and I'm noticing a lot of the women who are available these days are mostly women with children. Like, it's shocking to find a woman who don't have kids.
True.
But even though when you find a woman who don't have kids, depending on her age, she wants to have at least one, or she's come to the point of, you know what, I'm getting older, I ain't got time to be dealing with no babies. So it's like there's this selection there that's kind of like up in the air of which way to go. Because usually there's a lot of attitude and frustration. Like, I ain't got time to be playing no games. I mean, I usually talk to a woman when she says that, not interested.
But you don't want games either, though. So wouldn't that be a perfect match?
But why bring it up?
Just to be clear, because maybe she's got games played with her before, so she just wants you to know.
It sounds like insecurities coming out.
Okay.
It sounds like feels like a red flag. For a perfect example, when I told you with the dating apps, when people would put in their bio, oh, I'm a mother of 3 and my children are my whole world. Okay, well, no, I cannot talk to you because your children are your whole world.
Right. Where do I fit?
Exactly. It's different because there's always a section that says, do you have children? Yes, I have children. Okay, she got kids. I have my little Johnny's. He's my whole world. And if you can't handle that, it ain't gonna work. You already disqualified yourself from like half the men that try to look at you. Because you just told them that little Johnny is gonna have reign over you. We already know that if you have children, that you're going to have to invest time in your kids. We know that knowledge based on you having children.
Yep.
But when you put out there that he's your whole world, I don't want to fight for competition with your child over you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's different when, like I said, you put out there you have kids. I get it. She needs a babysitter. Fine. So I know to plan earlier than rather plan on the week of. I probably, like, if I wanted to go see what movie's coming out, Super Mario coming out. I want to go see that on Friday. Well, I know not to ask for this Friday, but ask for next Friday, because that way gives her enough time to have a babysitter and get enough time. If the babysitter cancels on her, we can plan and move accordingly.
Right.
That's how men know how to move with women with children. But when you tell them your child is your whole world,
yeah, and it's similar on this side of the fence too. It's very rare to find a man without children, but they're there. I definitely found a few, and a few of them are older as well. I've found a few older men without children, and some of them have said they want one, or don't want any at all. And so there comes a risk. I'm a single woman without children. I would like one myself. So do I date younger to kind of guarantee me a little bit more chance of having children, or a chance to find someone without children, if that's what I so choose? I don't mind a man with children, but it does, I guess, how he raises his children is important to me. A man who is very absent from his children, that's a no-go for me. Why would I have children with someone who's absent from their kids on purpose? Now, if it's a situation and out of his control, that's different. But I look at those kind of things. What kind of person is he? What kind of father is he already? So I'm not gonna make. He may be a similar father to my children as he is to his current children. Is that gonna be a problem? A tug of war? Is he super busy? Does he work a lot? Will he have time for me and the children? You know what I mean? Do our values match up? So that becomes another issue. Not an issue. That becomes another concern when I'm dating. I'm looking for not just do not have children, but are they willing to have more if they have some? Some of them won't. Some say, I've already done that. Like you said, my kids are already grown. How do I look starting over? But some might for the right person or the right situation, but it may be rare. And a friend of mine asked me, is it unfair to exit folks out on dating apps who don't have those basic things? So in her case, she wants a man with no children already. So is it fair, she asked, to exit them out? So if they say don't want children, she's gonna exit them off. You're limiting your pool, but you want what you want, right?
Yeah, I've had this question asked, and I've always said that my kids are teenagers. 2 of them are adults working, take care of themselves. I have 1 more to go. I wouldn't mind having more children, but I want to have them with someone that understands that if we get married. First of all, I like to be married first. And if we get married, then we know that we're going to stay together, because I've already been through a situation, going through a divorce and seeing how it affects children. Now, I wouldn't want to put a child in that situation again. If the woman doesn't have the mindset of, we're together, we're going to make this work. Oh, you mad at me? I'm mad at you. You know what? Go sleep on the couch. Or are we going to talk about it later on? I don't feel it's responsible to put a child into a position where they're going to be without their other parent.
Right.
After seeing what divorce does. Because there is an absence there that affects children. So when women ask me that, and I say I'm open. I mean, it's me. It's the XD. So I'm gonna love the process of even creating one.
Oh my.
So if we can have one and have that mindset of, we're gonna raise this child together, we're gonna stay together, allow them to see a healthy relationship, I'm all for it. But I feel like a lot of time these are questions people aren't asking before they get ready to have sex and everything. They just, I'm in the mood, you in the mood, we're gonna do what it do. Hey, I'm late. Well, what do you want me to do about it?
Right. Deal with the consequences afterwards. Yeah, I get what you're saying. We should have talked about it beforehand. Yeah, talking first. And I get it. It kind of kills the mood though, right? You want to get intimate and it goes, oh, before we do that, let's talk about this real quick.
Dude, I would be turned off. It's like, are you serious?
But if I don't have a conversation, then you're gonna be upset afterwards. So when do you have the conversation?
I guess that would be based on what we discussed during this conversation, the friend.
Yeah, because you're not gonna have it while you're having it,
You want to be like, turn on some Luther or some Uncle Luke or something. And you think you're gonna get in there, and all of a sudden you're like, well, so how do you feel about children? Oh, never mind. You can put this back up.
Say, I think I gotta go vacuum my roof.
Right. A long time to complete.
Yeah, I gotta go walk my fish. No, I get it, and I think that's the thing. Again, another question I have for you a while back was, when talking with someone, talking about dating and just talking to you nicely and everything, if they don't communicate with you the way you would like to, is there a chance for redemption? Is there a chance for you to try that communication again?
I feel there is, because it depends. I feel like there's always a way to communicate, even if there's a breakdown of communication. It just takes both parties being willing to actually communicate to better their communication.
Mm-hmm. So like the woman who was asking you rapid fire questions.
Oh, that was done. No.
You just said it was a chance.
No, to me, her rapid questions was presented in a way of looking for somebody that can take care of her.
Okay.
Because there was more passion into finding out if I can fulfill these needs of being financially stable, of being a protector, being a leader and everything, without her even knowing who I was.
True. Could a nice rebuttal have been asking her questions about the things that you would require? Do you cook? Are you good at bed? You know what I mean? Like, she asked things of you. Could you not have asked things of her?
There was a episode of Fresh Prince, and it was the episode where Vivica Fox was featured on it, and she played Jazz's sister. And I guess she went out on a date with Will, and immediately she was like, they're at dinner and she's ordering food, and she's ordering for Will, like, no, you're gonna eat this, this, and this. No, the husband, the father of my children, gonna make sure he around to help me take care of kids, and I ain't gonna take care of these 6 kids by myself. And he's like stunned. He's like, how did we go from making an order of food to 6 kids? That's how I felt. That's how I felt when she asked me all those questions. It was like, dang, I don't even know you. We just matched. And now you did it. No, I'm good.
Maybe it's not petty. The petty in me would have been like, you want to know if I can fulfill these? Can you fulfill these? Let's go tick for tack. Come on, let's get it.
Would have been like a good way to go to see where she was coming from. But like I say, at the time, nah.
Yeah, I get it.
Mind wasn't there to try to find out. I was like, no, you looking for somebody to help. You got 3 kids. You looking for help. It's hard out here. Like your cousin pointed out to you. Think about getting married.
Yeah. For sure. No, I get it. Like I say, and that communication piece. And so another thing about the whole dating app and stuff like in that situation, I've told other friends about some of my past dating app experiences. And being a male friend, I told him how I addressed a male, and he was saying, why not tell him what he did wrong? I said, because I wasn't interested. He said, but telling him what he did wrong could improve him for the next lady. that ain't me. It ain't got nothing to do with me. But I understood what it was saying, because then he flipped it on me. He said, imagine I was doing something on my dating profile or in my dating app or in the conversation that was a turnoff to men, and no one told me that, and I kept doing it. Wouldn't I prefer someone to tell me, hey, we don't like that? Men don't like to be questioned like that,
Right.
Like that could have improved what was going on. I said, I get what you're saying, but at some point you old enough to know that that's not how you communicate with somebody. You hit with the what's up, or hey ma, where we do that at? None of my profile should have ever made you presented to you that says that's who I am. I mean, I have complete sentences. I've got periods at the end, correct grammar and spelling on there, and you hit me with a
You with the what up though?
Okay, now listen, don't get it wrong. I can talk with the best of what it is, but that's not always the first go-to to me. I don't know, but with that being said, there have been some times, actually a couple times on purpose, I matched with somebody that I did not deem attractive, and I did not want to date, but I did it with the sole purpose to communicate with them and tell them what they was doing wrong. It may have been wrong, may have been petty, but I did help somebody in the day. Like I told the one guy, I said, all your pictures have multiple people in them. We're not doing where's Waldo?
Right.
How do I know which one is you? You didn't even circle the one that's you, sir. We don't know. We don't know who you are. Another guy had a whole bunch of stuff on his profile, and I said, I'm sorry, but most people don't read all of that. Give me a few key points, things you want me to really know. Everything else talk about later. Another guy put on there, you want to know, just ask. What am I asking? there's nothing here to ask about. Like, you got to at least give me something, so when I hit your inbox, I can be like, hey, your profile said you're into cars. What kind of cars? I can ask if I knew what to ask. So it was interesting. I don't know what made me do that, but I did it a couple times, and I'm like, you know what?
That makes sense.
It would work out for me, but those tips could use, work with somebody else. And I would accept that if someone would say those things to me. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but if someone was to say, hey, Glo, the way you're doing this, well, we ain't feeling that. And some dudes will see this as, like you said, some dudes will see this as a problem. You questioning, they question. They might not like that. Some dudes don't care, but some will not like that. So I feel like, each one teach one.
I get that. Oh, shoot. Excuse me. Hey, I'm still healing, so I can't sit down too long without adjusting.
Hey, take your time.
But yeah, dating, like I said, to me, marriage is a beautiful thing. Like I said, I was blessed to be a part of that type of blessed union. It didn't last. Do what I like to be a part of it again, of course. But now, seeing the destruction it causes, because when people divorce, you don't just break away from somebody. That splits up families. It splits up friends, children. In some cases, it tears apart a lot. So I can understand why being patient and strengthening communication is needed, especially through a friendship phase. So once you go into the dating phase and the dating phase graduate to the marriage phase, you don't have those little problems that you can't fall back on the friendship and create ways of fixing things. So I get it. But again, I'm a person who really needs to work on patience, because it's like I want to be with you and I want to be with you now type of.
Do you also think that, I'm not saying you, but do you also think that some people rush into things to make sure that they get that person and no one else can get them?
Yes, but in this world, I get it. Because a lot of people's attention spans are so weak.
Mm-hmm.
Like, imagine as being a man or a woman doing something, trying to build with somebody, and because people are dating multiple people, So it's like, man, you got to put your best foot forward, because you don't know if somebody's dating somebody else and they're trying to get her too, and then you don't want to get that text or that communication of, hey, I don't think it's gonna work. And it's like, dang, I invested all this time. You know, time is the one blessed gift we have that I get upset if it's wasted.
Right.
Because time is one thing you can't make up. So once you run out of time, you're done.
Yeah.
And you don't want to, if there was ever a way to sit back and look at your life and look like, why did I talk to that person? Why did I do this? Why did I do that? And that's where we find ourselves in different situations, because a lot of people don't know how to properly communicate, or properly be patient, or operate within their person that they're talking to without listening to outside voices telling them how they should run their relationship.
Would it help? I'm still stuck on the patient part. Would it help knowing that you and the person that you're being patient with are still going towards the same goal? Would that make a difference in waiting? Okay. I think about that sometimes too, because it's like I've had this a similar idea to what you said. Like, I like somebody, I wanted to progress forward to somewhere else, and they were kind of like, no, take our time. But I'm like, we can get to know each other while we're dating. Like, we can do two things at the same time. That's how I felt about it. But I also was like, to respect their wishes as well, is to not rush it, because again, what am I rushing into? You know, if I like you now, I'll like you later.
Right.
I mean, hopefully. I mean, like I say, if I see what I don't like, I can dip without being 5 years in and be like, you know what, I really don't like that. Had I seen it sooner, I could have been like, I'm out of here, you know, or I could have communicated, hey, I really don't like when you do this and this and this, you know, can we work on it? Or, you know, can we try something different? You know, as opposed to just, I don't like it, fix it, you know.
Right.
Been there, done that. Or if they say to me, hey, I don't like when you do this, and I'm like, well, it's too bad, it's who I am, you know, like, to know that early on so that you can decide, okay, is it someone that I can continue to be with, whether they change or not, or do I need to go ahead and cut ties? And you don't cut ties once you already made a commitment and already started working towards this common goal, you know. But I think having I don't want to say finish line, that sounds bad too, but having a goal in mind to say, we're gonna get here, and putting a time limit on it sounds good, but it could be detrimental too, right? Because if you say
it puts that expectation.
Yeah,
I got to be ready by this time to move that way. What if that time comes and I'm not ready?
Right.
What happens now?
Well, that becomes, if you put something on there, like, I mean, again, I know people do not like ultimatums in general, right? But if you have a plan for your life, if you say, I would like to have this done by this age, or I want to have this done within this amount of time, and it includes someone else, I think it's only proper to communicate with them to say, hey, I have a goal set for this, this, and this. You know what I'm saying? Are you on board? If they're not, you got to leave them where they are. You can't hope that as time gets closer to that time that they're going to be ready. Because they're not ready now, they may or may not be ready then, you know. So, I mean, example of any situation, but if you were saying, hey, I want to be friends with you, you know, or even a marriage, right? Some people say when you get engaged, they give a year maybe to get married. Some folks can be engaged for decades, right? But some people,
it takes you to date at least about 6 months. After 6 months, you should be trying to head towards marriage.
And then once you get engaged, they want it fairly quickly too. Some people don't want a long engagement. So I wonder, would that work similarly in the whole friendship part? You know, I would like to, you know, be friends and then date within, you know, a set amount. I mean, I don't want to put a set amount because, like you said, it could change, it could vary. Setbacks can happen. You know, if someone gets sick, I don't want to put that sick time or that maybe sad time if something happens to them tragically on this timeline, right? That's not included because it's not fair. You were trying to recuperate, or you're trying to recover, or you're trying to get better, and I can't, you know, say, well, you know, I gave you this time, and it's like, I don't know. I never want to rush, but I also wonder, if when we talk to people, if we should be looking for someone who's on our same wavelength, right? Because you mentioned about not wanting to be patient, not wanting to, but having to be patient in a different way, right? But what if we found someone who on the same wavelength, someone who's like, I'm ready, you ready? Let's do it. You know, like of course that might be the goal, or we might be like, you know what, this is a chance to stretch me out, a chance to try something I haven't tried before. I think about that sometimes, because there's times when I want something right now, but it's like, is this the right time? Am I ready? I mean, I'm saying I'm ready, but am I for real?
That makes sense.
Yeah. And then what happens if you find somebody who's ready right now, and y'all get it, and y'all decide, y'all realize y'all went too fast?
That's always the risk.
Mm-hmm.
So, talk to me nice. Dating today. What do you guys think? You know, make sure you like, share, and hit the comments. Let us know your opinions, your thoughts on this. I'm going to have to go work on my patience and my communication. You learn what you learn every day. It's like it's a choice to use it or not. I'm using it. It is a challenge, but I'm using it. So for the C4 movement, I am the XD. Want to thank Glo for stepping by again.
No problem.
And we'll see you guys next time on our next topic here on the C4 movement. And this is Open Book.
They say the early bird gon' get the worm. Feel like I'm stuck in line, waiting my turn. All of the L's I took are lessons I learned. Success, it gotta be earned. Tell me why they sleeping on me. On me. Tell me why they sleeping on me. On me. Tell me why they sleeping on me. On me. Tell me why they sleeping on me. On me. Tell me why they. Find me in the middle of the map, right in the center. I'm a saint right now, but we all born sinners. Take a couple L's if you wanna be a winner. When I think about the beat, it's synonymous with dinner. I've been eating too long, still starving. Sowing seed like I got my own garden. And I'm talking to the king while I'm flipping through James, making sure my cardiac don't harden. Mind your manners, Midwest flow, country grammar, out the slammer.